Now, there's no denying that social media is here to stay in our lives, whether it's for entertainment, communication, or information. But if one of your New Year's resolutions was to spend less time on social media, you will want to make notes from our next guest.
Indeed. Well, Joanne Orlando is digital wellness expert, and she helps people navigate the tricky world of social media. Joanne, welcome to Weekend Breakfast.
Hello.
You know, it does seem that social media has changed over the last few years or so. I remember when everyone was on Facebook, and now hardly anyone that I know is on Facebook anymore. Twitter seems to be petering out as well.
Yeah.
It's all about Instagram and TikTok. What does 2023 bring? What kind of changes are you seeing in terms of the platform?
Yeah, I agree, and it seems to be that way, doesn't it? But still in Australia, and in fact in the whole world, the top 5 social media companies, Facebook is still the app that we use the most. Messenger, WhatsApp and Instagram, all owned by the same company, Meta.
Yeah, right.
And then 5th is TikTok. So we're still going on to Facebook for things like news, events are still organised on Facebook, and things like Messenger are used a lot by us. But we know that TikTok is progressing up very, very quickly, exponentially. It's got 1 billion users now, compared to Facebook, which has got about 5 billion users worldwide.
Wow.
We also saw last year the explosion of Be Real, which, if you don't know what it is, it's basically there's a moment in time you get a notification. Everyone with Be Real gets a notification at the same time, and you're meant to take a photo of yourself and a photo of your view. And it's the idea is to paint a picture, a less sort of beautiful picture of people's lives. It's a bit
it's
more
less
real.
curated.
Yes,
Curated.
And I'm wondering if young people are looking for social media, for different things from social media.
They are. I do a lot of research with young people. So right now I'm spending a lot of time interviewing young people, interviewing families. And why Be Real has become so popular is they say it's what we used to love about social media. It's authentic, it's fun, there's not a lot of sponsored content being pushed our way. It's not about models and celebrities and people trying to, you know, sell you things. It's just about connecting with your friends and having a bit of fun. It's not curated. You don't need to put your makeup on, although some people still are. They won't take a photo unless they're looking great. But it's that authentic side of social media that we're kind of missing now. It's really changed now, hasn't it?
It certainly has. What I'm interested in, and we talk about this a lot, about how social media actually changes our behaviour, how technology changes human behaviour. I mean, it's got to have an impact on you, right? These 30-second clips, and what does it do to your attention span?
Yeah, and that's one thing we are really worried about, that we are losing our ability to focus and our children are losing our ability to focus. So there's a really interesting study that was just released not long ago, and it was done by a marketing company, so that's important to know. But they interviewed TikTok users, and about 50% of those users say any video that's 1 minute or more is stressful. So they're finding it stressful to focus for over a minute. So what do they mean by stressful? They mean it gets a little bit boring. So boredom is stress now in the digital age, and it makes sense, doesn't it? Because we're constantly scrolling, we're constantly seeking out new content. Boredom is the new form of stress, or one new form of stress.
Wow.
Okay, so a lot of people would have the resolution to have less screen time, but also perhaps change the way they use social media. How do you make sure that when you're looking at the good, you're remembering it's just a highlight reel, and when you're looking at the bad, you're not kind of doom scrolling?
That's right, and doom scrolling, I often call it zombie scrolling, because it's kind of a bit like that, isn't it? It's one of the things, one of the habits that we've fallen into that most people want to get rid of. You know, about 87% say I waste my time scrolling. So one of the things about scrolling is we might say that we're addicted to our screen, but what it really is a habit that we've fallen into. And it's a habit that we do whenever we're feeling a bit stressed, you know, waiting in line for coffee, pull out your phone, I'm a little bit lonely, or I'm a little bit awkward, and you scroll. You know, you've had an argument with someone, just take it out on your phone. So it's a way we've developed as humans of managing our stress. So if you're aware of that, then that's the very first step. When do you pull out your phone and do that kind of thing? What has led you to do it? If it's something that you're doing when you're always bored, you know, you're waiting in line for coffee. So there's a couple of things you can do. You can leave your phone behind, you know, but if you're worried about leaving it behind for an hour or so, and we still do have that idea in our mind that we need to be connected, then instead of scrolling, plan ahead, help yourself, and do something on there that's actually value add. All those articles that you've saved that you've never read, you know, read a book. I've got this folder, you know, good things I've done this year, and I just pop it in this folder. There's photos, there's notes, and I just go through that every now and then, and it's like a feel-good affirmation. So shift the way you're using your phone.
Just very quickly, we are running out of time, but we do want to touch on the topic of parents and kids on social media. There's an article in today's papers talking about how parents may be oversharing their kids' pictures. How do you handle that? What is oversharing? Oversharing
is just too much content or too many details about your child. And there's things like, you know, oh, my child wet the bed last night. Can any mums out there help me? That's a lot of oversharing because it's your child then, and that sits with them the rest of their life, that they used to wet their bed. It mightn't be a big issue for you, but it probably will be for them. So being careful of how much you share about your family and the kind of detail that you're continuously sharing. You know, we might use something like Facebook as a support group, but you know, you really need to look after your children as well.
Yeah, and their privacy too.
That's right.
Joanne, it's great having you on the show. Thank you so much for being with us and giving us some tips for the rest of the year on social media behaviour. Joanne Orlando there, thank you.
Thanks.